A kite in the wind. Mhm. I am free as a bird. Hi, welcome to Art Angel. Today we are looking at free verse. It's an old art form of poetry. This style of poem is old. It's really as old as the hills. If we are to define what is free verse, we can say that free verse is a freestyle poem with no rules. Yes, you heard me. No rules or very few rules. It's generally non rhyming, but it can employ a little bit of rhyme. If we look at the form free verse takes, free verse has no particular format, but it closely resembles regular speech or what we call normal speech patterns. It closely follows the rhythm of natural speech as well. Free verse tends to employ similes and metaphors. That's why I began by saying I'm free as a bird. That's a simile. Free verse can also take the form or employ as part of the form the use of imagery. Yes, personification, alliteration, and as I previously said, it sometimes takes or has within it a bit of rhyming. Okay, so far we can understand that free verse is the freest form of poetry. There are generally no rules. You can use figure of speeches like similes and metaphors and so on, and you can use literary devices as well, like personification, alliteration, and rhyming and so on, to give a bit of body or texture to free verse. Still looking at the form of it, it's an abstract type of poetry. It tends to focus sometimes on the senses. What are our senses? Sight, smell, hearing, tasting, touching. So this is one way you can tell if you see a long poem or a short poem that generally is very free in terms of its form and structure and rhyme scheme, there is not much rhythm to it, then you can very well be looking at free verse. Free verse has no stanza pattern, but if we were to try to put a bit of structure to it, then you can create a pattern if you so desire. But remember, we said this is the no rules poem. Free verse is therefore known as the no rules poem. The poet therefore has a lot of freedom to express whatever message or emotion they want to convey to any given audience in any style they want. They don't have to create stanzas. But if you wanted to make free verse structure, then you can create your own rules if you so desire. right? This poem structure, in looking at structure again, this poem can be short or it can be long. Verse is often a long poem, but it can also be a short poem. People or poets generally use this art form to express long poems about the senses, about things they hear, about things they smelt, about things they touched, you know, and to try to invoke the senses, to pull the audience along, to feel or to relate to some type of message using the senses. Now, looking at the structure, again, free verse often ends as a cliffhanger. Yes, when you end a free verse poem, it ends in a bit of suspense. So the reader or the audience can feel that sense of awe and captivation and continue with that sense of wondering. What's coming next? What could have happened? What can still happen here? So free verse doesn't really end. You can start it again or you can continue free verse again. So we will see that free verse is open-ended. It's generally short, it can be long, but it is usually an open-ended style of poem. Let's look at one example today of free verse poem. I've written one for you. It's medium in length. It's not short, but it's not long either. So it's medium. And I did not give it a structure. I left it open-ended so that if I wish I can add more to it, I can continue with it. But it can be enjoyed just like this. I've entitled this free verse poem Threshold. Threshold by Angel M. Now, remember, before we go further, remember you are looking to see if your senses are being stirred. If I, as the poet today, in my free verse, have given place to sight, hearing, smelling, tasting, feeling, touching, right? And of course, we know the sense of perception and awareness, right? If we go beyond the natural five senses, okay? But we are looking for that, and we are looking to see if we see any similes, any metaphors, any personification, and if we have any tiny bit of rhyme somewhere hidden in there. So let's go. Threshold. Leap into the place of rest. Embrace the sight before. The threshold floor and unveiled face is like a trap without a door. Without the lace revealed, it opens wide, then narrows out and flows across a stream unknown of consciousness, of quietness, flowing beyond a dream unfold. One's condition and position reveals the status quo. Racing to reach the prestige, the only thing I know. I grow. The thresholder still leaps across the entrances before they realize open door. The stench of sweat still smells so sweet. The entrances are lined with feet, a light for many rush and race to see the beauty of the unveiled dream. Is marred by nuances and noise. The thresholder can lose the poise. Push required for the larger leap because the point disclosure seek to cause the crowd to be okay, to laugh and mock the mockingjay who sings, who tasted life. It's bittersweet, the leap of rest will soon retreat again as runway after runway reach the threshold floor, the trap release. The mockingbird still has each song. It mimics nuisances around its nest and touches every trap it knows to feel while singing as it defeats the foes alone of quiet rest and unknown woes, to leap again beyond the door.